Last Sunday's gospel from Mark chapter 7 described a man who was deaf and who had a speech impediment. He was cured immediately after Jesus said, "Be opened." Mark chapter 8, right before today's gospel, describes a man who is blind, and he was cured in two stages. Jesus touched his eyes and asked him, "Do you see anything?" And the man replied, "I see people looking like trees and walking." Then Jesus laid hands on him a second time, and he saw clearly. Why did Jesus not cure him immediately, like the deaf man with the speech impediment? Is Jesus better at being a miraculous ear, nose, throat specialist than being an optometrist? Let's try this lens. Is this better? Or is this better? One or two? This is one, this is two. No, we know that Jesus has the power to bring back this man's sight perfectly on the first effort. The apostles have seen Jesus' power: calm the storm, walk on water, cast out demons, raise a dead girl to life, feed the multitudes with small portions of food twice, and many, many healings. So why cure blindness in two stages? It has to do with the next story in Mark chapter 8, which is today's gospel. It has to do with spiritual blindness, which often recovers multiple stages to cure. Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" And they get some amazing answers. John the Baptist, Elijah, a prophet. And he says, "But who do you say that I am?" And Peter gets the right answer. It's true progress. You are the Christ, the Messiah. The truth is coming into greater focus. So Jesus uses this as an opportunity to describe even more clearly what it means to be the Messiah, that he must suffer greatly, be rejected by religious leaders, and killed, and on the third day be raised. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, which then caused Jesus to rebuke Peter publicly, identifying him as an adversary because he is thinking not as God does, but as human beings do. Peter has been growing in awareness of who Jesus is. He gets it, but he doesn't. There's still blindness in Peter. Regarding the inner circle of the apostles, so often Jesus seems to fulfill their expectations, exceed their expectations, and then depart from their expectations in ways that constantly keeps them off balance. And they seem drawn to him and yet baffled. They struggle to understand who Jesus is and the radical life required of a disciple. The blind man's cure in two stages is symbolic of Jesus' relationship with the apostles, and I would dare say with each and every one of us as well. But this shouldn't be something that's disheartening, but rather encouraging. There's always another stage of growth available, or we can just remain as we are in our relative blindness. I see people looking like trees and walking. People aren't supposed to look like trees, and trees aren't supposed to be walking. There is always more to see and more to learn. Tomorrow is Catechetical Sunday. Catholic schools have been running for a few weeks, and religious education programs are beginning. And we acknowledge the importance of learning about God, learning our Catholic faith better. But if it does not drop from the head to the heart, then we have a new problem on our hands. Because St. James says, faith without works is dead. Knowledge without good deeds is dead. Truth without love is dead. They will know they are Christians by their love. For Jesus said, love one another as I have loved you. So the good news is this: Jesus is willing and able to work with us in stages to remove blindness, whether we struggle spiritually, morally, whatever it may be. Whatever our blindness, deafness, or speech impediment might be, Jesus is there. But he does need us to make him Lord of our lives.